Good morning, Bénédicte. So that last-ditch appeal failed, meaning that the flight will go ahead. How many people are on it, and what lies ahead for the future appeals, do you think?
Well, cleared for takeoff. That is what one British newspaper in support of this British Boris Johnson's government's policy, and indeed the UK government's first flight taking asylum seekers to Rwanda can and now will go ahead this evening, Tuesday. That is indeed the ruling made by the appeal court judges on Monday afternoon here in London. And we need to point out that it supports a previous decision taken last Friday by the High Court that was, quote, in the public interest for the government to carry out its policies, a policy that is a flagship policy, very much in keeping with the take back control of your borders Brexit campaign led by Conservative governments. And under this scheme, some of those entering the UK illegally and, for example, across the channel that separates, the sea that separates France from the United Kingdom, will be flown to Rwanda to apply for asylum there. Now, how many asylum seekers, you ask, will actually be on the flight? Originally, we understand there were about 135, 150. With all these legal challenges, including 3 appeals, last-ditch appeals this morning, I understand, in court, we believe that just 8 people are expected to fly to the landlocked East African country this evening. That is according to a Home Office source here.
Flight with just 8 people, certainly not very eco-friendly, Bénédicte. But speaking of the legal challenges, that suggests just how controversial this deal is. What have the reactions been?
Yeah, it is clearly very controversial, and not just with the opposition parties like the Labour Party, who have called it unethical. Certainly campaigners have been trying to stop this first flight and any further flights before a full hearing, which we understand on this policy, and whether this policy is actually lawful. And let's be clear, the British government says it's absolutely lawful, although some opposition MPs and critics more generally say that this is a breach of international law. We believe there's going to be a full hearing next month on this policy, so that will be one to watch. Meanwhile, the Charity Detention Action and the PCS Union, which I understand represents some border staff here in the United Kingdom, are among the groups who brought the case. They say they're very disappointed by the decision and appeal court yesterday, saying that these flights can indeed go ahead. The numbers drastically reduced off of legal challenges, as I said. Expect more legal challenges, not just today. And one reaction, for example, from the entire senior leadership of the Church of England, the established church here in the United Kingdom, every single bishop in the upper chamber, the House of Lords, 43 of them, have written a letter to the newspaper The Times to decry the Rwanda scheme as, quote, an immoral policy that shames Britain.
An immoral policy that shames Britain. Well, we'll see what will become of those future legal challenges. Bénédicte Paviot in London, thank you very much.